Party Monster, take 1.
Why don't you start at the very beginning?
A very good place to start, if you say so.
You look awful. So do you. Oh, James, I'm so glad I ran into you. Come to my party.
I'd rather suck on a urinal cake.
But James, you have to come. You're my best friend.
How can I be your best friend when I don't even like you?
James St. James, heads up white slavery, sells 12-year-old boys on Avenue B. Exclusive by Michael Alig. Why, Michael? Why?
Oh, come on, Skrink. I think it's funny.
My father does not share your sense of humor.
I didn't know he was a Project X reader.
Yes, you did, because you sent him a lifetime subscription.
Yeah, I told the police I was you. And after I told them that you had AIDS, they gave me my own room with a VCR and ice cream.
Michael, I don't even like you. I have never liked you. Angel. Where is Angel, anyway?
I killed him.
Of course you did, darling. New shoes?
They're angels. He was wearing them at the time.
Of course he was, darling. And that's blood on the toe, right?
Oh, James, I'm getting away with murder, and you're just jealous.
The story of Michael Alig and James St. James began in the late 1980s. During this time, Alig and other regular club goers began creating flamboyant personas and later became known as the Club Kids. The Club Kids wore outrageous costumes that former Club Kid and best friend James St. James later described as part drag, part clown, part infantism.
There is no one here.
Unlike Alig, St. James had been born into wealth and initially shunned the newcomer on the scene.
Phil.
Fine, but...
Michael, you wanted to say.
Yeah, I want to say a few things. First of all, we're...
You always have.
No. You're missing... Shut up, James.
Okay, yes.
James has a trust fund, so his fantasy can live forever.
He would later detail their friendship in the book Disco Bloodbath, a fabulous but true tale of murder in Clubland. Copies of this book now sell upwards of £50 to £160. They were known for their frequent use of ecstasy, Rohypnol, heroin, LSD, mushrooms and cocaine, but their favourite drug was the powerful anaesthetic ketamine, also known as Special K.
And I was the drug child, and I was in a cage, and it had signs saying, "Do not feed the drug child. This could happen to you."
In 1988, Alig was hired as a club promoter by Limelight club owner Peter Gatien. These parties helped to revitalise the downtown New York City club scene after the death of Andy Warhol.
Have any of you...
She says she doesn't. Wait, stand up.
Have any of you...
She looks great. She looks great.
Alig soon became as notorious for his behaviour at these events as he did for the parties themselves.
Michael had hepatitis, and he just decided to go around and drink out of people's drinks. He was trying to French kiss everybody.
And then everybody in the club scene thought that they had hepatitis. I myself went to get a hepatitis shot. So he devised this wheel of hepatitis.
Maybe Sushi has it. We saw him kissing Michael. Sacred Boy drank from the same glass.
As Alig's popularity in the club scene grew, so did his drug use. He was arrested several times for drug offences, and eventually he was fired from his job as promoter at the Limelight.
I called him last night. He's married now, with kids. He wouldn't even come to the phone. His wife hung up on me. I really think you should move in with me, James. I'm just like a balloon. Unless someone holds my string, I'll float away.
Around this time, a friend and drug dealer known as Angel Melendez moved into Alig's Riverbank West apartment. On the night of March 17th, 1996, Alig and his roommate Robert Riggs, also known as Freeze, killed Melendez after an argument in Alig's apartment over a long-standing drug debt. After Melendez's death, Alig and Riggs did not know what to do with the body. They initially left it in the bathtub, which they filled with ice.
After about a week or so, the smell got so bad, I said to Freeze, we have to do something about this terrible mess.
In exchange for 10 bags of heroin, Alig agreed to dismember Melendez's body. He cut his legs off and put them each into separate garbage bags, then into separate duffel bags, and threw them into the Hudson River. The rest of the body was put into a large box Riggs found in the basement of their apartment. Afterwards, he and Riggs threw the box into the Hudson River.
Freeze isn't very good in the dead body disposal department. I sent him to Macy's Kitchenware to buy some knives. I did so much heroin that day, I hoped it would kill me. We put it all into a box in the living room. After a few more days, we threw it into the river and floated away.
In the weeks following Melendez's disappearance, Alig allegedly told anybody who would listen that he and Riggs had killed him.
He was one of those copycats that we hate, and so we killed him. I killed Angel, and...
Most people did not believe Alig and thought his confession was a ploy to get attention. In November of 1996, Alex was arrested with Riggs. Shortly after his arrest, Riggs confessed to the police.
Excuse me. Hello?
Skrink?
Scrod! I'm just in the middle of a television interview.
About what?
My novel. It's called Disco Bloodbath, and it's all about you.
Oh, James. Go and commit your own murder.
I was just telling you the story of how I got you arrested.
What? I can't believe you do that. But I'm your best friend.
Isn't that what best friends are for?
James Clark, I could kill you. You saved my life, you know. Thank you.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to hang out now. Because you want to get the last word, and you want this to end with everyone liking you, and it's my movie. I can't let it end that way. I know what you're trying to do, and it's not going to work. Goodbye, Michael Alig.
Alig was paroled on May 5th, 2014. To mark the occasion, James St. James wrote Alig an open letter updating him on how the world has changed since his incarceration. He also advised him to start taking the drug crocodile, which causes infections that rot the skin away. Per the conditions of his parole, Alig returned to New York City. He attempted to pick up where he left off in the early 90s, to little success. On December 25th, 2020, Michael Alig died of a heroin overdose. He was 54 years old. James St. James made no statement after his death. In 1997, former club kids Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato would go on to make Party Monster the shockumentary. This documentary detailed the rise of the club kid phenomenon in New York City, and more specifically the life of Michael Alig. After its massive success, the pair decided to make a feature film detailing the same events. Michael Alig arrives on a Greyhound bus in New York City, desperate to leave his boring Midwestern past behind. After meeting downtown club kid James St. James and influential nightclub owner Peter Gation, a fame-hungry Alig decides to throw the most controversial and over-the-top parties in the city. In just a few years, Alig's drug addiction and erratic behaviour threaten to destroy the empire he's created.
Do you have any more?
What do you mean any more?
More is in more, moron.
Macaulay Culkin was cast in the leading role as Michael Alig. Macaulay Culkin came out of retirement to play the leading role of Michael Alig. At the time, he had not made a film in 9 years. His last role was in the 1994 film Richie Rich. He was 14 years old at the time of shooting. Party Monster would be his debut in an adult role. In preparation for the role, Culkin visited Michael Alig in prison, and likewise Seth Green, who played James St. James, met with St. James in order to emulate his characteristics. According to Culkin, he had copied Alig's mannerisms and when shooting stayed as true as to how he believed Alig would have been. Though while doing this, Culkin claimed he was constantly given direction to be more extravagant. He believed this led to his performance being way too over the top. There is a clear difference between Culkin's performance and the real Alig, whereas Seth Green's performance is very close to how St. James appears in interviews.
Oh, I hate heroin.
The film opened to negative reviews. Although Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, calling Culkin's performance fearless, he remarked, "The whole movie lacks insight and leaves us feeling sad and empty. Sad for ourselves, not Alig, and maybe it had to be that way."
No. He was always awful. He's always been insane, and he's always been awful. It's taken everybody 10 years to discover the depths of his awfulness. Did I just destroy your whole the whole point of your documentary?